Hello, I'm Julian Bustamante, and I will be presenting my mini TED Talk on a very obscure and unorthodox way of thinking that I have created and I feel very strongly about because I feel like it can help many people. This is where my slides will be, so if you want to pay direct attention to this, there will be a link after it. I will provide a link to it, and let's get started. So, let me set an example for you. Maybe you have a test coming up in a certain grade. Maybe it's an AP class that, you need to get an A in to, have a very bright future and get the Bright Future Scholarship. You need to, you need to have this good grade. Now, you study every night for a week because it was announced at the beginning of the week. You study every night for an appropriate amount of time, and honestly a very good amount of time. And you stress a very healthy way about it. You think about it in a very I need to get this test and I need to study for it. So you study every night, you're pouring yourself out, and you got this topic, but some days you can have a bad day and some days you can have a good day. And one of these days is a bad day, and you get an F on the test. Now, you studied for it, you tried your best on it, but you just had a bad day. Or you just, something happened that distracted you, or something, maybe someone in the class did something that did everyone an F because, it disrupted everyone. So, these things can happen like that. Life can flow that way. But what I see in a lot of people, and what I could see in many people that I've been friends with, and especially in me, is that people will think too hard about their F, and will think way too much about it, and stress way too much about their parents finding out, and having to deal with the aftermath of it, and trying to get your grade up from horribleness like a C. And I know a lot of people are like, C, that's pretty good, but to me, it's bad. And I know to a lot of people who are taking AP classes, a C is not that very good. So having this F is going to really hurt your chances and really hurt your mental health because you stress about it way too often, and you don't really move forward. But what I bring to the table is that I think of a certain way of thinking. It is what it is sometimes. You tried your really hard on this test. You tried really hard, and that's the most you could do. Something may have distracted you, or you might have been in a bad day, but you tried hard on this test, and you studied for it, and at the end of the day, life is going to happen. So why not just realize that, life is what it is. It's okay to have stress about a test. It's okay to stress about it afterwards. But when it comes to a point where it's affecting other classes and you feel like you're unworthy of this really good class, how I felt in many of my classes this year, it becomes a really big problem. Because you're worthy, you studied, but you get an F, so that can really discourage you. Now, the way of thinking could help you on that in many ways, because you know that this test is one in the thousands you're going to take in your entire life. Millions of tests, I would, say. But, this is the only thing you could think about because, one bad in every 10 good is, you can only think about that one bad. So, what I like to say is, life is what it is. Life is what it is, and you can't really do anything more than you've already done. And at that point, once it already happens and once it's already forever done, it's in the past. And you don't want to keep thinking about it for way too long of periods. You need to keep moving forward. And that's my philosophy. It is what it is, Life is going to throw a curveball at you many times. I know it's happened to me. I know it's happened to my friends. I know it can happen to even teachers. I know that may sound weird, but it happens to teachers too. So, understanding and realizing that life is what it is and that sometimes you can't really do anything about it is very empowering, I would say. Now, the next slide is, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Obviously, I've talked about this already, and I just want to give some examples. People get too stressed about things that they can't control. I know this has happened to me, I get stressed about things I can't control. Like my brother, he'll make me feel guilty that he can't have a PS4. And I know it's more of his part than mine, but, I really can't control that, but I still feel guilty about it. This has happened in many places and many people. Some are way more serious than others. I know mine's not that serious, but, in many cases, it's extremely serious in other cases. And realizing that it is what it is can really save a person, I would say, because, like, what are you going to do about it? It's already in the past. You got to keep moving forward, You got to keep moving forward. Better yourself. Better the people around you. Help people. It can make yourself and your mental health feel much better. Now, the next one is that people will put way too much of the stress on themselves that they don't need. Let's take an example of the test. You did all that you can, but you keep putting the stress on yourself for no reason. You keep putting all this stuff, you keep putting all this pressure on you that is frankly unwarranted, unjusted. So, you gotta keep moving forward. It is what it is. You gotta not think this way. You gotta think, like, how can I move forward from this? Because life is what it is. And I'll be using that phrase a lot because that's the premise of it. And the next one is that people can really destroy their self-confidence and blame everything on themselves. I know this happened to me, again with the F in the class. And I know this is very versatile, I would say. So in the F in the class, you can destroy yourself by saying, like, oh, this is my fault. And you can really lose a lot of confidence. I know this happened to me. I got a bad grade in one of my quarterly grades, and I thought I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't think I could do it. And in losing that confidence, I made myself believe I couldn't do it, so it almost came true. And I came close to actually becoming reality, but I know it's very possible. People losing their confidence is a huge part in why they have bad grades, also with studying, but, having this premonition that, oh, I can't do it, pushes them to not do it. And that's the point. You gotta have this mindset of it is what it is, so you keep moving forward rather than stressing about it and not moving forward. Now, the next slide is, the phrase, it is what it is. And is basically a short summary. You can read it if you want. I'm not sure if you can read it, so I will be providing the link to it. But I'm going to summarize it and read a little bit to you. Things that you can't control are variant, so when people can't control them of an aspect or an event in their life, they can be really distraught. And yeah, I've talked about this. They can be really distraught. Feeling so that it doesn't affect things that they can control. So a lot of things they can't control can affect things they can control. What I mean by this is, let's bring back to the test. You get an F on this test. Oh, you tried so hard on it. But you know what? You can't control it at that point. But they put so much stress and so much effort that they think they can't do it, and they lose confidence that the next test ends up the same way. So in losing that confidence, they affect things that they truly can control, like the next test, so that they can better themselves. Think about this in a, it is what it is way, can not only put it in the past, but you don't stress about it for your next test. So you only stress about the next test, because stress can be very healthy as long as you have the right amount of stress, like you're studying for a school test. Obviously, that's the right amount of stress. Now, this logic can be applied to many other things, such as a broken object. I know, like, if you break, one of your plates, let's say you break a plate in your home, like, you didn't mean to do it, but it is what it is, and you can't really stress about it. And I know that's a very, small example, because most people don't really stress about it, but, it's a very, very telling example, because at that point, people are using the it is what it is, like, oh, I guess I'll just buy a new plate. Like, that's what people think, and I think that logic can be applied to many other things that you can't control but are much more serious, like a bad grade or, someone passing away in your family. And that is very sad, and that can be very distraught to some people. The simple phrase, it is what it is, may seem comical, but in truth, knowing the phrase could help you through many tough ordeals throughout school and your job. The phrase helps you see the lighter side in many situations. I know it's helped me see the lighter sides in many situations. I've broken probably many plates, and I'm not attributing that to the phrase, but, it is what it is. You gotta keep moving forward. Like, it is what it is. It's really, really, it's a funny phrase to say, but in truth, it works in a lot of ways. Like, you have to believe that it works for it to believe to actually happen. It is what it is very complicated, although it has a simple idea to it. Thank you. This has been my mini presentation. I know it's an unorthodox idea and philosophy that I have, and that's helped me, but I want to share it to people because, it's it helps a lot through many stressful ordeals, It is what it is very, very helpful to me, because you realize that a lot of stuff truly has less meaning than it actually does, I got a little mad because I accidentally broke a cup today. Now, it's a little weird because why would you get mad at a cup breaking? And I look back and I think that's a little weird. But once I realized that, you know what? I can't do anything about it now. I might as well just clean it up and just, say, it is what it is, keep moving forward. And that is can very help people in many other situations, very serious ones. And I just think that, people need to hear about this. And I think that in my view of the world, it's very helpful to people. Thank you. This has been my presentation.